My apartment started leaking in the middle of the night, so I went to crash at my best friend's place. But when I walked into the bedroom, I saw my rich ex-girlfriend, who I'd broken up with a year ago. She smirked, a cold, triumphant smile playing on her lips. What's this? Having second thoughts? Want to get back together with me? I was completely stunned for a moment. How could my ex be here? I immediately turned to bolt, but she grabbed me tight. Ethan, you think you can just show up and leave? Not a chance. In the middle of the night, while I was fast asleep, a drop of water suddenly hit my face. I wiped my face, got up, and flipped on the light, only to see a huge water stain spreading across the ceiling. This was already the third time this month. To save money, I'd rented a top-floor apartment in an old building. Besides the cheap rent, nothing else about it was good. After leaving a message for my landlord that the apartment was leaking again, I quickly packed my things and headed to my best friend's place, who had just bought a condo in the luxury complex next door. Once inside, I grabbed my pajamas and went straight to the bathroom. After a nice shower, I slipped into bed. I had just laid down when I sensed something was off. There was someone next to me. Why are you in the guest room instead of the master bedroom? I mumbled, puzzled, as I turned over and hugged my best friend. Dude, are you using some kind of body lotion? Your skin is so smooth, and when did you get so soft? You feel kind of plump. Holy crap, Kevin, did you get implants behind my back? As I was reeling in shock, a cool, restrained female voice came from above me. Where do you think you're touching, Ethan? You're really going to great lengths to try and seduce me, aren't you? That voice, why did it sound so familiar? I scrambled to turn on the lamp. The moment the light flooded the room, I froze. I was looking at my ex-girlfriend's beautiful but icy face. What are you doing here? I yelped, quickly pulling the blanket up to cover myself. I didn't expect that when I yanked the blanket, her face would instantly turn bright red. Seeing the view in front of me, I quickly shoved the blanket back over her. Then I prepared to make a run for it. But as soon as I turned, Chloe yanked me back. She spoke through gritted teeth. You think you can just leave after showing up? Ethan, do you really think I'm a pushover? Looking at this woman in front of me, seething with anger, I couldn't help but shrink back a little. So, what do you want to do? What do you think? Chloe ground her teeth in frustration. No matter how angry she got, it didn't diminish the beauty of her face in the slightest. If you want to do something to me, I guess that's okay, I said, closing my eyes as if I were facing my doom. After a long moment, Chloe suddenly spoke. Sorry, I'm not interested in you. With that, she started to get up and leave. However, her foot got tangled in the blanket, and the next second, she came crashing down right on top of me. Her lips landed perfectly on mine. Ethan, man, did your apartment leak again? Kevin's booming voice called out as he opened the door, freezing instantly when he saw the scene inside. It took him a moment to process before he said, Oh, sorry to interrupt. Please, continue. And with that, he beat a hasty retreat. No, Kevin, it's not what it looks like. Half an hour later, I had relocated from Chloe's bed to Kevin's. In the dead of night, Kevin was wide awake, propping himself up on his hands, his eyes wide with gossip as he looked at me. So you and my sister. She's your sister? I asked, completely shocked. What? You don't see the resemblance? I looked at Kevin's chubby-cheeked face, then thought of Chloe's devastatingly beautiful one, and shook my head. Not even a little. Under Kevin's death stare, I quickly changed my tune. You do. You actually look a lot alike. Nodding with satisfaction, Kevin sat up. Okay, spill it. What's really going on between you and my sister? What's to spill? It's just that your sister was staying here and you didn't tell me. That's why that happened. Oh, come on. Kevin clearly wasn't buying it. My sister doesn't let any guys get close to her. If any other man had crawled into her bed, she would have kicked them so hard they'd be a permanent fixture on the wall. Seeing that I couldn't fool him, I had to come clean. All right, fine. I'll level with you. She's my ex. Your ex. Kevin was floored. How did I not know about this? We dated and broke up in college. And I met you, Kevin, after we started working. Once he sorted out the timeline, Kevin, with his handsome face, just blurted out, Holy crap! Holy crap! So you're the one? The ex who my sister was crazy about. The one whose breakup nearly destroyed her. I was a bit confused. Nearly destroyed her? When we broke up, she seemed perfectly fine with it. Kevin's brow furrowed so deeply you could have crushed a mosquito in it. What are you talking about? You have no idea. My sister was like a completely different person back then. She was always so driven and positive, but for a while, she just shut herself in, completely listless, and she lost so much weight. Took her months to slowly get back on her feet, but she just seemed even more difficult to be around than before. Back in college, Chloe was famously known as the Ice Queen. From our brief encounter just now, I could definitely feel that she was even colder than she used to be. But I never imagined it was because of me. Ethan, how did you and my sister actually break up? Kevin's big eyes were sparkling with a thirst for knowledge. It was actually pretty simple. I wanted to go to a movie, but she said she didn't have time. After I saw the movie, I told her we should break up. She just said, okay, and we never spoke again. Hearing this, Kevin was incredibly surprised. That's it? That's so anticlimactic. I nodded honestly. It was just that anticlimactic. So, Kevin, is it possible that the guy who broke her heart was some other boyfriend? He shot down my theory immediately. Impossible. My sister has only ever had one boyfriend. If it wasn't you, who else could it be? After a bit more gossiping, Kevin yawned, lay down, and was out like a light. He had an attitude that nothing was more important than sleep. I lay next to him, but I couldn't sleep. I met Chloe our freshman year of college. She was stunning, had excellent grades, and was voted campus queen. A lot of guys had a crush on her, myself included. Countless guys pursued her, but I was the only one persistent enough to chase her from freshman year all the way to senior year. In the first semester of our senior year, I finally won over the unattainable beauty. But even after she agreed to date me, she remained as cool and reserved as always, treating me almost the same as she treated everyone else. She never seemed to ask anything of me, but as we got more serious, I found myself wanting to get closer to her. But unfortunately, my passion was always met with her indifference. Gradually, I grew tired. So, after watching that movie she'd bailed on, I told her we should break up. Her reaction was flat, just a single word, okay. After the breakup, I got completely wasted, thinking that without me, Chloe must have felt relieved. But I never expected Kevin to say she was heartbroken too. So, maybe Chloe actually did like me back then? A faint ripple disturbed the calm of my heart, but it quickly subsided again. Whatever happened back then, a year has passed now. Whether we liked each other or not, it's all in the past. The next day, when I woke up, Kevin was long gone. He started dating someone recently and has been out early and back late every day. I yawned and headed to the bathroom to wash up. As soon as I pushed the door open, I saw the sexy back and curves of a woman. What was going on? I was a bit dazed. I rubbed my eyes, and when I opened them again, Chloe was wrapped in a towel, staring at me with a dark expression. Ethan, you failed to seduce me yesterday, so you're trying again today? Oh man, I actually walked in on Chloe in the shower. Sorry, wrong room. I said it and immediately turned to run. Chloe grabbed me by the back of my neck. You keep accidentally walking into the wrong room. Do you really think I'm going to believe that? It was a bit ridiculous, I admit, but couldn't you have showered at any other time? Why so early in the morning? I'm starting to suspect you chose this time on purpose to seduce me. Chloe laughed, but it was a laugh of pure anger. The only reason I'm showering this early is because of you. What does that have to do with me? I asked, completely confused. When she spoke again, Chloe lowered her voice, her tone sharp as she gritted her teeth. I wonder who it was that crawled into my bed last night and kept me from getting any sleep. Her cool, magnetic voice exploded next to my ear. My face instantly flushed red. So Chloe was taking a shower to cool off? Realizing this, I couldn't bring myself to look her in the eye. I saw my chance, covered my face, and bolted. It wasn't until I was back in my own apartment that my racing heart finally started to cool down. The landlord had arrived and was arranging for a repairman. He said the leak last night was from water that had pooled from the heavy storm a few days ago. It didn't matter where the water came from. What mattered was that my small apartment was constantly leaking, and at this point, there was hardly a dry spot left. Over the past month, I'd moved my bed around so much that there was only one last dry patch left for it. After the landlord and I finished moving the bed again, I let out a soft sigh. If the spot starts leaking too, I'm afraid I'll really have to move out. I didn't stay idle. I spent the rest of the day washing sheets, airing out my comforter, and cleaning the room, which took up the entire day. I finally had some downtime in the evening, so I sat by the window working on my design drafts. That's when Kevin called. Ethan, why'd you move back? Why not just stay at my place? And don't worry about my sister. She only stayed over last night because her own place nearby was being cleaned after being empty for a while. She should be gone today. It's okay, Kevin. I can manage here for now. He kept trying to convince me, and only hung up after I promised I'd move in with him if it leaked again. After the call, I felt a warmth spread through my chest. I met Kevin at work. We were just regular colleagues at first, but we had similar interests and just clicked. We quickly became best friends. Not long ago, Kevin and I were doing really well at our jobs, which led to the senior employees deliberately shutting us out, so we talked it over and decided to quit together. After we became unemployed, Kevin just enjoyed life, ready to take over a piece of the family business whenever. I, on the other hand, started freelancing, using the client list I'd built up over the past year to do design work from home. I fell a bit behind during the day, so I had to stay up until 2 in the morning to catch up. I was sleeping soundly. Suddenly, I felt a cold sensation on my foot. I jolted awake. Holy crap, it's leaking again. I quickly grabbed a bucket to catch the drips on my bed, then moved my comforter and pillows out of the way. Part of me felt miserable, but another part of me found it kind of funny. I guess I should be grateful it didn't drip on my face this time. What else could I do on a long night like this? I had to go crash at Kevin's place again. Besides, Kevin had said Chloe was only staying for one night. If I didn't run into her, there'd be no awkwardness. I ran over to the neighboring complex as fast as I could. Once I got there, I headed for the guest room to sleep. As my hand touched the doorknob, I noticed sharply that the guest room door was closed, just like last night. Normally, the door to an unoccupied room would be left open. To be on the safe side, I decided not to sleep in the guest room tonight. I'd sleep in Kevin's master bedroom instead. I slipped under the covers and hugged Kevin. The next second, a jolt went through my entire body. What was happening? That soft feeling, that familiar, pleasant scent. Click. I flipped on the light and, sure enough, I was met with Chloe's death stare again. This time, I decided to strike first. What are you doing here? Isn't this Kevin's bed? Again and again, Ethan. Don't tell me this is another coincidence. Chloe gave me a look that said, keep pretending, and it infuriated me. What else could it be? You think I'm secretly lusting after you? Of course you are. Back in college, you used to just stare at my face all day. I knew even back then. She trailed off, her voice faltering before she fell silent. The mention of the past made me feel a bit awkward too. I rubbed my nose. I'm going to go find Kevin. I tried to leave, but the bedroom door wouldn't open. Seeing me struggle with the door, Chloe came over. After trying a few times herself without success, she frowned at me. The door was working perfectly fine. How is it suddenly broken right after you came in? Her words were heavy with implication, as if I had orchestrated this whole thing. I was about to lose my mind. The words just tumbled out of my mouth. Okay, I admit I have a hard time resisting you, but do you honestly think I'm smart enough to orchestrate this many coincidences? That's a fair point, Chloe conceded with a nod. You're definitely not that smart. I was speechless with rage. I put my hands on my hips. Chloe, why are you in Kevin's room? Don't tell me you were waiting for me to walk into the wrong room on purpose. A faint, cold smile touched Chloe's lips. Or is it possible I was afraid you'd crawl into my bed again, so I switched rooms with Kevin to avoid you? I was speechless. So the truth was, I was afraid Chloe was in the guest room, so I went to the master bedroom. And Chloe was afraid I'd go to the guest room again, so she went to the master bedroom. And we both ended up in the master bedroom. This was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And who was to blame? Of course, it had to be that idiot Kevin. Didn't he say his sister was gone? I pulled out my phone to call Kevin and get him to open the door and let me out. But the call went to voicemail. Kevin didn't pick up. I should have expected it. That guy always sleeps with his phone on silent. And he's such a heavy sleeper. A little noise would never wake him. Trapped, I could only turn back to look at Chloe, only to see that she had already lain back down on the bed. Are you kidding me? So she knew I couldn't reach Kevin and deliberately claimed the bed before I had a chance. I walked to the side of the bed and gave Chloe a pleading look. Her eyes were closed, but she's so sharp, she definitely knew I was there. Sure enough, Chloe rolled over, turning her back to me, and didn't move a muscle. She had absolutely no intention of giving me the bed. Since you won't move, then I'll just have to. Steeling myself, I lifted the covers and got into bed, lying down right next to her. Under the same blanket, I could clearly feel her body heat. The temperature shot up where our skin touched. My mind couldn't help but flash back to the image I'd seen in the bathroom that morning. My cheeks grew hotter and hotter. I felt like this couldn't continue. If I really lost control, Chloe would definitely lose all respect for me. But I didn't want to sleep on the floor. Deciding to go all in, I deliberately started inching closer to her, trying to crowd her off the edge of the bed. I figured if I annoyed her enough, she'd have to leave. Her body tensed up, but she still didn't budge. Just as I was getting bolder, Ready to do whatever it took, she shot her hand out and grabbed my wrist. Ethan, and you're still trying to say this isn't on purpose? My heart skipped a beat. This time, I really was doing it on purpose. So what if it is? What are you going to do about it? I retorted, acting like I had nothing to lose. After all, she'd already made it clear she wasn't interested in me when I got into her bed before. So now, either she stayed in bed and let me do whatever, or I got the bed and she got the floor. After staring at me for a moment, Chloe let go of my hand with a sigh of resignation and got out of bed. She took a blanket from the closet and made a makeshift bed on the floor. So she'd rather sleep on the floor than share a bed with me. I felt a pang of disappointment, but that was quickly replaced by a wave of satisfaction. The great Chloe Chun sleeping on the floor while I got the bed. How satisfying. I slept incredibly well that night. The next day, I woke up to find that my soft, comfortable bed had somehow become hard and unyielding. I blearily opened my eyes, and a beautiful face, magnified to an incredible degree, filled my vision. It was Chloe. Damn it. I know I'm a restless sleeper, but I never thought I'd actually roll right off the bed and onto the floor, and land right on top of Chloe. I tried to scramble off of her, but I quickly realized something. Given how sharp Chloe was, the second I moved, she would wake up instantly. And then she'd definitely accuse me of doing it on purpose again. With that in mind, I decided to stay perfectly still and see what happened. I'd wait for her to wake up first, then I'd make the first move and claim she pulled me off the bed. As I thought this, my gaze lingered on her face. Her features were delicate, her profile sharp, her skin flawless. Even up close, I couldn't find a single imperfection. Her lips were a natural, perfect shade of red. So alluring. I licked my own lips, and unable to resist, I leaned down slightly and my lips brushed against hers. Chloe, are you sick? Why aren't you up yet? Kevin's voice came from outside the door, and a jolt went through me. Forgetting all about my plan to one-up Chloe, I tried to get up immediately, but in the next second, I found myself in the same predicament she'd been in earlier. The blanket was tangled around my waist. I had just managed to lift myself up a little when I came crashing back down on top of her. Chloe, if you don't answer, I'm coming in. Hearing that, I panicked and frantically tried to untangle myself from the blanket. But the more I rushed, the more tangled it got. So when Kevin opened the door, he saw Chloe and me tangled on the floor, our clothes and the blanket a complete mess. He, with his handsome face, let out another classic exclamation. Holy crap, you guys are into some wild stuff. Huh, my bad, my bad. He disappeared as quickly as he could. No, Kevin, I yelled, reaching a hand toward the door. But I could only watch helplessly as he shut the door again. My hand fell limply to my side. I let out a deep sigh and collapsed back onto Chloe's chest. Her voice suddenly sounded from above me. Are you not planning on getting up? Are you trying to crush me? That snapped me back to reality, and deciding to just give up, I said, I want to get up, but I can't. You get up. How am I supposed to get up with you on top of me? Chloe ground out. Then I guess we'll just stay like this, I said with a shrug. But I didn't expect her to be even more stubborn than I was. She really didn't move. Fine, I give up this round. If I stayed in the room with Chloe any longer, who knows what else Kevin would imagine. I finally managed to free myself from the tangled blanket and quickly stood up. As I was about to leave, I noticed Chloe hadn't moved. Why aren't you moving? Did I actually hurt her? It's nothing, my arm's just asleep, she said, pushing herself up with her left hand while her right arm remained stiff, only her wrist moving slightly. That small movement sent me back to that one summer. In college, besides going to class, Chloe's favorite place was the library. For me, spending all day in the library was torture. But whenever I saw her beautiful face, all my exhaustion would vanish. And so, I spent every day with her in the library. When I was reading, she was reading, and when I fell asleep, she was still reading. A few times, I even fell asleep with my head on her arm, and when I woke up and told her we should go, she would just say, wait a minute. A few minutes later, she would stand up, a book in one hand, while her other arm would be doing the exact same thing she was doing now. Thinking back on it now, after I'd been using her arm as a pillow for hours, it must have been completely asleep. But she never said anything, and I never noticed. I just thought she didn't care about me at all. What was so wrong with just indulging me once in a while? Noticing my stare, Chloe stopped moving. I snapped back to reality and walked out of the bedroom. After washing up, Chloe left. Kevin linked his arm through mine with a huge grin. This is great, Ethan. I was always worried about what I'd do if my future brother-in-law was a jerk. But if it's you, I have nothing to worry about. It's not like that, Kevin. Me and your sister. Without giving me a chance to explain, Kevin cut me off. It's okay. You don't have to say anything. I get it. And with that, he grabbed his bag and headed out the door. I just sat there, completely speechless. What could you possibly understand? With a sigh, I went back to my own apartment. This time, even the landlord was embarrassed. Hey kid, I'm just going to refund you the rest of this month's rent. With it leaking like this every day, the rent I'm collecting is barely enough to cover the roof repairs. All right then, I really had to find a new place now. But this is New York City. The rent here is no joke. Kevin and I are best friends, but I had no intention of moving in with him. I valued our friendship too much to let anything, like living together, complicate it. So I contacted a real estate agent to look for a new place. The agent showed me a series of relatively cheap studio apartments. I never expected to run into Kevin while I was apartment hunting. There was a girl with him, pretty and sweet-looking, whose simple clothes stood in stark contrast to Kevin's head-to-toe designer brands. This must be the new girlfriend he'd been talking about. When he saw me, his eyes went wide. Ethan, you bastard. You'd rather go out and rent a place than stay with me? That's it. Our friendship is over. He sounded furious, his tone aggressive. But coming from his handsome face, it wasn't intimidating at all. It just made him look kind of goofy. He came over and pretended to twist my ear, and I quickly threw my hands up in surrender. I'm sorry. Seeing he was still fuming, I tried to change the subject, looking at the girl. Aren't you going to introduce me? At that, Kevin instantly snapped out of his anger. He dropped the tough guy act in a second, a blush creeping up his face as he said shyly, "This is my girlfriend, Michelle." Then he introduced me to her. "This is my best friend in the whole world, Ethan." "Nice to meet you," Michelle and I said to each other. "I think this place is pretty nice and the price is reasonable. Michelle, you should just rent this one. What do you think?" Kevin asked her. But Michelle said, "If your friend needs it, he should take it. I can keep looking." "He doesn't need it. He's staying with me." And just like that, Kevin made the final decision. I tried to offer Kevin rent money, but he absolutely refused to take it. This was exactly why I hadn't wanted to stay with him in the first place. I had no choice but to put the money aside, figuring I'd use it to buy him that designer watch he wanted for his birthday. Kevin wanted to bring Michelle along to help me move, but I told him not to worry about it. Luckily, my childhood friend Jessica was free, so I called her over to help with the heavy lifting. That's just how it is in New York. 2 apartment complexes right next to each other, yet one was old and run down, and the other was a luxury high-rise. The distance was short and I didn't have much stuff, so there was no need to call a moving truck. Okay, the main reason was that hiring movers was expensive and not worth it. So Jessica and I, each carrying a suitcase and a huge duffel bag, huffed and puffed our way over to Kevin's place with all my stuff. The second we got inside, we both collapsed onto the floor, groaning in unison, "I'm dead!" Exhausted and dizzy, I was staring up at the ceiling, panting, when suddenly, Chloe's face swam into my vision. Thinking my eyes were playing tricks on me, I squeezed them shut and opened them again. The face was still there, and it was getting clearer. It really was Chloe. What was she doing here in the middle of the day? I quickly sat up. Just as a jolt of pain shot through my forehead, Chloe clutched her chin. She gritted her teeth. "Ethan, when seduction fails, do you move on to assault?" Oh crap, Jessica was still here, and she was just throwing the word seduction around. But since I was the one who'd headbutt her, I had no choice but to apologize. She went into the guest room, grabbed a file, and headed for the door. Just before she left, she shot Jessica a dark, lingering look. Slam. The door slammed shut, and Jessica rubbed her arms. "Ethan, I don't know. I kinda got the feeling that beautiful woman wanted to murder me with her eyes." I frowned. "You think so?" "You don't." Jessica shot back. "How would I know? She wasn't looking at me. Now come on, help me unpack." With that, I started dragging a duffel bag towards the guest room. Jessica didn't move. She pointed at the guest room I was heading into, then pointed towards the front door. "Ethan, are you living with that woman? What are you talking about?" I was confused for a second before it hit me. Right, Chloe had just come out of the guest room before she left. Even though Kevin said Chloe was just staying here temporarily, I still felt uneasy, so I called him to double-check. "Don't worry, Ethan," I asked my sister. "She's moving back to her own place starting today." "Are you sure? Because you said that last time, and look how that turned out for me." "This time I'm positive, I swear." With Kevin's solemn promise, I could finally relax. After we finished moving everything, Jessica and I were completely wiped out. I handed her a bottle of water. "Thanks for the help." She chugged half the bottle in one go, then looked at me. You think a bottle of water is enough to pay me back? What else? You want me to make you some ramen? I can even throw in a hot dog. Sounds good to me. After Jessica's cheerful agreement, I headed to the kitchen. I had just finished making 2 bowls of ramen when she got a phone call. She left in a hurry without even touching her food. So I ended up eating both bowls of ramen myself. I have to say, a better environment really does wonders for design inspiration. After a busy afternoon, I stretched and got up. After a shower, I was curled up on the living room couch in my pajamas, eating watermelon and watching TV, feeling perfectly content. Click. The door opened. Kevin, you're back. Come watch this, I said, waving towards the door without taking my eyes off the screen. I felt him sit down next to me, so I scooped up a big piece of watermelon with my spoon. Here, try this. It's super sweet, I said, holding the spoon out to him. Only then did I realize that the person sitting next to me wasn't Kevin at all. It was Chloe, and by that point, the spoon with the watermelon was already at her lips. In the face of my shock, she was far more composed. She simply opened her mouth and ate the watermelon. From my spoon, my face flushed and my heart started pounding. You, why are you here again? Kevin swore you'd moved back to your own place. Chloe's expression didn't change in the slightest. My place is leaking too. I was just, what? A luxury condo that costs millions of dollars can also have a leak? Kevin might be my best friend, but he's also Chloe's brother. No matter what, I couldn't just kick her out. Okay, let's just get this straight. I'll sleep in the guest room, you sleep in the master bedroom. And tonight, nobody goes into the wrong room. The wariness in my eyes made Chloe's expression turn cold. Ha! Just as long as you promise not to sleepwalk. Of course I won't. After Chloe arrived, I didn't linger in the living room. I just went back to my room. I sat on my bed and opened my phone. As I was about to eat some more watermelon, I paused. Chloe had just used the spoon. As if compelled by some strange force, I took another bite of watermelon with that same spoon. My heart suddenly started racing, and I disgustedly set the spoon aside. Ugh, why am I being such a creep? After finishing the show, I was getting ready for bed when the usually dead group chat with my old college classmates suddenly lit up. I saw a few notifications mentioning me, so I opened it. Hey everyone, it's been almost a year since we graduated. We should have a reunion. The suggestion came from Alex, our class's most popular guy. The most enthusiastic responses came from the same people who were always the most active back in school. Alex was the first to tag Chloe. Chloe, our goddess, are you coming? Others quickly chimed in. Yeah, if Chloe comes, it'll actually be a party. The mere mention of her name clearly got everyone excited. Clearly, everyone was hoping she'd be there. Back in college, Chloe was in a league of her own. Whether it was her looks, her grades, or her family's wealth, she was completely unrivaled. Chloe replied quickly, I have something that day, so I won't be able to make it. As soon as she said she wasn't coming, the chat immediately died down. I just silently watched the conversation. My close friends were all in other cities and couldn't make it, and I wasn't really friends with anyone else, so I didn't plan on going. So I didn't say anything. After graduation, everyone scattered across the country, so not many people could actually get together. In the end, it was just a dozen or so people who were still in NYC. Just as the final list was being settled, Alex suddenly tagged me in the chat. Ethan, long time no see. You should come hang out. Once Alex started, others chimed in. Yeah, Ethan, it's been a while. Ethan, you're in NYC. You can't just not show up, right? Or are you not doing so well and are too embarrassed to see your old classmates? I didn't really care about their comments. It wasn't until Sarah, our class president, chimed in. Ethan, it's been so long. I wonder how you're doing, that I reconsidered. I finally relented. Okay, I'll be there. On the day of the reunion, I took the bus to the restaurant. Alex had booked a private room at a 5-star restaurant. It looked incredibly expensive. When I arrived, a few people were already there, all gathered around Alex, laughing and talking. And they were all talking about Chloe. Alex, I heard Chloe took over her family's company? Not yet, Alex said casually. The Chun Corporation is huge. She wants to prove herself first before taking over. She started her own small company, and even though it's only been a year, it's doing really well. That's amazing, the other classmates exclaimed. Then someone else started gossiping. So, Alex, have you made any progress with her this past year? Of course, he said. Our parents have already had dinner together a few times. I'd say it's only a matter of time before we're together. His words immediately drew envious sighs from the other guys. I stood at the doorway, unsure if I should go in. Just as I was hesitating, Alex spotted me. "Ethan, come on in, have a seat." He waved at me enthusiastically, as if we were the best of friends. But back in college, we were rivals. Alex had also been into Chloe, but he wasn't as shameless in his pursuit as I was. After I started dating her, he even secretly got some guys to give me a hard time. I reported it to my academic advisor a few times, but nothing came of it. Eventually, he just stopped. I don't know if he just got over it or what. I walked over and sat down. "So, Ethan," Alex started, "have you found a new girlfriend since Chloe dumped you?" That one simple sentence from Alex made my fists clench. It was a mutual breakup, but they insisted on twisting it to make it sound like she dumped me. It was as if that was the only way they could satisfy their own egos, by lying to themselves. If it weren't for Sarah, I wouldn't have come in the first place. But since I was here, I figured I'd just try to get through it. "No." The moment I said it, Alex smirked. "I'm not surprised. I mean, after dating someone like Chloe, how could anyone else ever measure up? But hey, Ethan, you can't be too picky. If you're trying to find someone on Chloe's level, you're probably going to be single forever. A man's got to know his limitations. A guy from the sticks like you shouldn't be dreaming of landing a princess." Alex's words only fueled my anger. Just as I was about to fire back, someone stepped in front of me, shielding me. It was Sarah, our class president. Her face was flushed red with anger at Alex. "Alex, we're all supposed to be friends here. There's no need to target Ethan like that." Sarah was genuinely a good person. While others might be intimidated by Alex's money and status, she wasn't. Back in college, she was the only one who ever stood up for me when Alex started his crap. Alex had tried to get her removed as class president once, but she was so well-liked and respected by everyone that it didn't work. Besides, Chloe had also supported her. That's why her message was the one that convinced me to come. She was the only person at this entire reunion I actually wanted to see. Being called out by Sarah, Alex felt like he'd been humiliated. He sneered at her, "You're so protective of him. Why don't you two just get together? I think you'd make a great couple." You. Flustered at the implication, Sarah was too angry to even speak. I stepped forward. "Whether Sarah and I are a match is one thing, but you and Chloe definitely aren't. And I feel the need to remind you I broke up with her, not the other way around. Alex, I thought you were such a big shot. Who knew that after a whole year, you still haven't managed to land my sloppy seconds?" My words made Alex's face turn beet red with rage. He pointed a trembling finger at me. "Ethan, you're talking crazy." "Am I? Other people might not know, but you do, don't you? After all, you were the one who used to love secretly following us on our dates." "Ethan," exposed in front of everyone, Alex completely snapped. "I'm going to rip your head off," he said, swinging a clenched fist right at my face. I instinctively tried to dodge, but I wasn't quite fast enough. At the last second, a slender but strong hand shot out and pulled me into an embrace. The moment I smelled that unique, pleasant scent, I knew it was Chloe. Sure enough, I looked up and my eyes met hers. "Are you okay?" I don't know if it was just my imagination, but I felt like I could see unconcealed concern in her eyes and hear it in her voice. "I'm fine," I said, shaking my head. She then turned to Alex. "It seems you've forgotten the warning I gave you back in college. You said our parents have had dinner together? Don't worry. Whether that's true or not, I can guarantee it will never happen again." Her words landed with resounding finality. The color drained from Alex's face. "Chloe, it's not like that, let me explain." Chloe cut him off with a frown. "Please call me Chloe. If you hadn't targeted Ethan back then, I wouldn't even know who you are. We are not on a nickname basis." Her blunt words left Alex utterly humiliated. The atmosphere in the room became tense. Good old Sarah was once again pushed forward to play peacemaker. Chloe, you're here. Why don't you sit down and eat with us?" Chloe didn't answer her. Instead, she looked at me. "Do you still want to eat?" "No," I said, shaking my head without a second thought. "Then let's go home," she said, taking my hand and leading me out. I could feel the burning stares of Alex and the others on my back. Even though her home wasn't what they were probably imagining, I have to admit it felt pretty damn good. In the car, I looked at Chloe and couldn't help but ask, "You warned Alex back in college?" "Yes," she answered quietly. "Why didn't you tell me?" "I had just assumed he got bored and stopped bothering me. I never knew it was because of you." She never said, and I never asked. I thought she knew he was bullying me and just chose to ignore it. That once warm feeling I had for her had slowly cooled. This time, Chloe pressed her lips together and said nothing. Just when I thought she was going to ignore me, she let out a soft sigh. For one, I didn't think it was necessary. And two, I didn't want you to feel like you were a burden. Hearing that, I froze. It was true. I was so sensitive back then. I wanted her on my side, but at the same time, I didn't want to cause any trouble for her. Next to someone as brilliant as her, I always felt like I was just holding her back. Now, learning what she had done for me back then, a strange sadness washed over me. If only I had known a year ago, would I have held on to her hand and never let go? But there are no what-ifs. The car fell into a heavy silence. My mood was great after Chloe came to my rescue. I grandly announced that I would cook dinner myself. After I finished cooking, I put some food on her plate. Here, try it. Is it good? I asked, my eyes full of hope. In my heart, I already knew what her answer would be. In college, I saw how hard she studied every day, so I once made her soup in my dorm's rice cooker. When I asked if she liked it, she just said, "It's fine." "It's fine" was her standard answer for everything. The soup I made, the paper stars I folded, even the scarf I knitted for her by hand, her reaction was always, "It's fine." And just as I expected, Chloe started to say, "It's fine." The light in my eyes dimmed a little. I guess no matter what I did, she never really liked it, did she? Just as I was feeling disappointed, her voice came again. "I mean, it's really delicious. I had no idea you were such a good cook." It was the first time she had ever genuinely praised me for anything. It was such a simple sentence, but I felt my eyes start to sting. Seeing me on the verge of tears, a flicker of panic crossed her usually calm face. "Is that answer not good enough either?" She furrowed her brow, as if she were struggling to figure out the right thing to say. "Ethan, you're amazing. This is so much better than anything I could make." Her cool voice sounded endearingly clumsy. The moment a tear escaped, I let out a laugh. I lifted my chin proudly. "Of course I'm amazing." After dinner, Chloe took the initiative to clear the table and do the dishes. Watching her clumsily wash the dishes, I couldn't stop a smile from spreading across my face. What was wrong with me? I was actually feeling a sense of domestic bliss. I suddenly didn't want to hide in my room anymore. I wanted to be in the same space as her. To ease the awkwardness, I turned on the TV to my favorite show and invited her to watch with me. I was laughing my head off at the show, but I could see Chloe beside me, hesitating like she wanted to say something. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I paused the TV and looked at her. "If you have something to say, just say it. You're making me think I have some terminal illness and you don't know how to tell me." The words were barely out of my mouth when she reached out and gently poked my forehead. "Don't be ridiculous." "Ow!" I pouted, clutching my head. Her expression tensed and she leaned in closer. "Did that really hurt?" Seeing the genuine concern on her face, my eyes suddenly started to sting. She really did care about me, didn't she? It's just that before, all I ever saw was her icy exterior, and I never felt any of her affection. "Did it make you cry?" she asked, moving my hand away and gently rubbing my forehead with her palm. The warmth from her hand spread from my forehead straight to my heart. I blinked, forcing back the tears, and looked up at her. "So, are you going to tell me what you wanted to say now?" This time, she didn't hesitate. Her lips parted slightly. "I saw that girl who helped you move the other day. She was with another guy, and they seemed very close." "You mean Jessica?" "It's perfectly normal for her to be with another guy." Chloe's frown deepened. "But don't you like her?" "Who said I like her? The person I like is obviously." The words that almost slipped out made both of us quickly avert our eyes. My heart pounding, I quickly explained, "Jessica is my childhood friend. We're practically like brother and sister. We both grew up in a small town. After her dad passed away, her mom married my dad, but she stayed with her own relatives. We grew up in neighboring towns and have always been best friends." Hearing this, Chloe stared at my face. As if she quickly found some resemblance to Jessica in my features, she spoke again. "So, you're saying that the night you broke up with me, you went to the movies with your childhood friend? What else was I supposed to do? The tickets were expensive, and since you weren't coming, I couldn't just let them go to waste." I blurted out. After the words left my mouth, I realized something was off. "But you said you didn't have time that day, that you couldn't make it, right?" Under my questioning gaze, she answered, "My advisor needed me for something that day. It was supposed to go until 10 at night. I had already told you I couldn't make it, but I couldn't help myself. I asked my advisor for an early leave so I could come find you. So when you got to the theater, you saw me going in with Jessica, and then when I called you after the movie to break up, you just agreed?" "Yes." I didn't know whether to be angry or to laugh at her answer. Such a small misunderstanding had led to our breakup. I went back to my room, feeling a surge of anger. I lay on my bed and wiped away a few tears. I was filled with a mix of resentment and anger, not at her but at myself. The truth was, Chloe and I both knew that even without the misunderstanding about Jessica, given the way we were, a breakup was inevitable. Jessica was just the spark that lit the fuse. After our talk last night, things between Chloe and me felt different, but also exactly the same. We still didn't talk much, but now, whenever I'd look up from my design work, I'd find a glass of warm water on my desk, with a few tea leaves floating inside. My grandpa loved strong tea, and when I was a kid, I used to just drink straight from his big mug. And because of that, I developed a habit of drinking tea myself. I've always liked to put just a few tea leaves in my water. Come to think of it, the reason Kevin and I hit it off so well was because we had so much in common. For one thing, we both liked our water with just a hint of tea, nothing too strong. I once told Kevin I got the habit from my grandpa, and I asked him where he got it. He said it was because of his sister, he just copied what she did. And we both loved cats. He told me he never used to like them, but his sister kept sending him cat videos and recommended that one cat cafe to him. And also, wait a minute, back then I didn't know his sister was Chloe, but I know now. A suspicion started to form in my mind. I called Kevin, wanting to confirm it, but I couldn't get through. This was the first time since I'd known him that he was completely unreachable. I started to get worried and decided to go look for him. The only place I could think to look for him was at his girlfriend's apartment. While I was waiting for a cab, I ran into Sarah. Unlike at the reunion, where she'd seemed a bit down, today her face was radiant with joy. Something good happen? I asked. She nodded. My mom got sick and we needed money, but I just got laid off from my job. I was so stressed about finding a new job, but then a few days ago, I got an offer from a huge corporation for several times my old salary. Congratulations, I said, genuinely happy for her. Sarah was hardworking and talented. Her only flaw was that she was too honest for her own good. In a round of layoffs, someone as guileless as her would be the first to go. Sarah smiled back. Actually, I should be thanking you. What does it have to do with me? I asked, confused. The company that hired me was the Chun Corporation. Everyone knows Chloe is the Chun family heiress. In college, I used to think you had to make it on your own, but now I'm really starting to understand the importance of connections. Ethan, I never even sent them my resume because I didn't think I was qualified. There's no doubt in my mind that Chloe told HR to hire me, and the only reason she would do that is because of you. Just because I was nice to you in college, just because I said a few words to defend you at that reunion. The truth is, Ethan, she's always cared about you. She's done so much for you, you just never noticed. Long after Sarah had gone, her words kept replaying in my mind. Chloe has done so much for me, I just never noticed. I felt an even more urgent need to find Kevin and confirm my suspicion. I hailed a cab and got to his girlfriend's apartment as fast as I could. The door was ajar, and I could see Kevin sitting inside. At least he was safe. I had just breathed a sigh of relief, but when I walked inside and saw the state he was in, my heart sank again. He was a mess, crying so hard he was practically breathless, completely drained of energy. Kevin was always so full of life. It was the first time I'd ever seen him like this, and it broke my heart. I gently put an arm around him. Kevin, what's wrong? We broke up, he sobbed. I said I wanted a strawberry shortcake, and she thought it was a hassle, but after she went and got it for me, she broke up with me. I have all these places, but just like you, she insisted on renting her own apartment. I tried to give her an expensive watch, but she wouldn't take it, and she got mad that I never wear the gifts she gives me, but I just don't like those brands. He just kept sobbing. Kevin poured out his heart, one sob-filled sentence at a time. By the time he was done, I understood the whole story. I spoke softly. Kevin, do you know that strawberry shortcake you like? It's only sold in the next city over. For you, it's just a phone call and a delivery guy brings it. But Michelle doesn't have that kind of money. She had to go all the way there herself to buy it for you. And it was probably after she made that trip that she realized she couldn't always give you the things you wanted. As for the apartment and the expensive watch, you guys are just dating. You give her such expensive gifts. There's no way she can reciprocate. She's not mad that you don't wear her gifts. She's upset because she thinks you don't value them. But I know you didn't throw them away. I've seen you. You keep them all safe in your nightstand, and you look at them every single day. After I finished, Kevin just stared blankly for a long moment, before bursting into tears all over again. I knew he understood. It wasn't that he and Michelle didn't love each other. They just didn't understand each other. Just like Chloe and me. One of us proud and reserved, the other insecure and sensitive. One unwilling to explain, the other always overthinking. So in love, yet we still broke up. Once Kevin had calmed down a bit, I helped him up, ready to take him home. But as I turned, I saw Chloe and Michelle standing in the doorway. "I'm so sorry, Michelle," Kevin cried, running to her. "I was wrong. I was being such a baby." "No, I was wrong too," she said. "I should have tried to work through it, not just give up." The two of them hugged each other tightly, and then Chloe and I looked at each other. "Come on," she said to me. "Let's go home." I nodded. As our fingers intertwined, I suddenly realized I didn't need to ask Kevin my question after all. I could just ask Chloe. We decided to walk instead of taking the car. She held my hand tightly the whole long walk home. Once we were home, I asked her, "Chloe, our meeting, Kevin and me, did you have something to do with that?" Thinking back, it was too much of a coincidence. I had just started at that company, and then Kevin showed up right after. I liked tea in my water, so did he. I liked to go to the cat cafe, so did he. We kept running into each other outside of work, more and more, until we became best friends. I had just rented my apartment, and then he bought a condo in the building right next door. "Yes," she said with a nod. "You've always been so careless. Since I couldn't be there, I needed someone to look out for you." So she had orchestrated our friendship, using her brother to take care of me by proxy. Tears welled in my eyes, and I gently pounded my fist against her shoulder. "Why? Why didn't you ever tell me?" My voice was choked with emotion, overwhelmed with sadness. I wasn't just asking her. I was asking myself too. Why couldn't I have just asked? Why couldn't I have just been honest about how I was feeling? Why couldn't I have tried to see things from her point of view? "I'm sorry," we both said at the exact same time. And a second later, we both said, "It's okay. Sorry for the hurt we caused each other, but it was okay." The past was in the past, and we still had a future. We smiled at each other, and she gently wiped a tear from the corner of my eye. She leaned in and kissed me. Late that night, I snuck into Chloe's bedroom. She raised an eyebrow at me. "This time, I assume it's on purpose? So what if it is?" "If it is," she whispered, "then I'll just have to punish you properly."